Hello and welcome to the Common Podcast, where we try to make common sense more common. I'm San.
I'm Mel, and we have a guest with us today, our little friend here, Jimbo.
Hello, everyone.
And we're going to be talking about how, you just got to mind your business a little bit. Keep your nose, a little bit of privacy. Keep your nose out of other people's business,
And keep it to yourself.
Exactly. Thank you. So we really want to connect. We always like to start off with One Piece here on this podcast.
Yeah.
One Piece.
We're a little bit of anime there.
Exactly. Little One Piece spoiler here real quick. But privacy is a thing in One Piece, right? Like oftentimes one of the biggest things that we talk about or we see in One Piece is news getting out or not getting out based on how the world government wants it to. I know our friend doesn't...
Piers Morgan.
Exactly. And Piers Morgan. If you know. But essentially, we want to really go into what does privacy mean, especially in this day and age of the internet and how social media has made privacy a lot harder to really exist.
And in this new day and age of the internet, your privacy is kind of very much on the verge of not being so private, because there's a lot of data farmers out there. And in terms of data farmers, I mean...
Palantir.
Palantir, I'm talking about Google.
Oh, let's take it a step back even from there, right? If we go 4 or 5 years back, even with publicly available, legally anonymous data sets, there were college researchers that have been able to de-anonymize location data using AI and machine learning with 85% accuracy.
85% accuracy.
In a research setting.
That's
before we apply corporate funding.
Yeah. So just to researchers don't get much.
This was commercially available location data that was anonymous by US legal standard.
And honestly, this just means in terms of every device you have, is it related to the NICs inside of the phones that you have in terms of pinging off of Wi-Fi signals?
It's GPS location data that would be coming from the device manufacturers. So Google or Apple or Samsung. Whenever your device is pinging a satellite for GPS or a tower for location, that data gets recorded by the carrier or by the manufacturer. And that data gets anonymized and then resold after a period of time. And there were university researchers that were able to combine mathematics with machine learning to compare that location, that anonymous location data set with publicly available data to de-anonymize users.
Do you know which university this was?
I don't off the top of my head, but it's available on IEEE.
Okay. If you have any questions, please check that out, because this is also a story I'm not too well aware of, but definitely something to look at.
It was the use of Markov chains in mathematics applied with machine learning, and they were able to de-anonymize location data. And this is something that happened 3 or 4 years ago at this point.
So they're able to, in terms of de-anonymize, in terms of individually allocate who is who in terms of where they are.
They were able to
use publicly available data to identify who everybody was individually based off of other open source information.
Essentially
being able to not just locate but identify and figure out, hey, this person is at this position.
Yeah, they were able to associate a non-anonymous data set with an anonymous data set.
So that gives.
So essentially, let's say because I've taken a class where it's data privacy, where you're essentially trying to put a lot of noise in your data to try fill it, fluff it up so people can't fully see what's there. But in terms of de-anonymizing, it's if someone's able to, like, even if your name's not there, they have everything but your name, they can kind of figure out who you are. So, like, if everything's missing but your name, that's like, it's like having everything but the corner piece. You know the whole picture. That thing's missing. You know what it is.
What a lot of people don't realize, the only thing you need to de-anonymize someone, to really and truthfully identify someone for who they are, is name, birthday, and the city they live in. Because despite there being almost 10 billion people on Earth, those three things combined with each other are so unique for each individual person. All you need is a name, birthday, and the city you live in, and you can find out one person's identity.
What about the people who have the same names, like a James Jordan, or like even the Indians who are like the Akash Patels or Rishi Patels?
Even for those people. I'm one of those people.
Yeah. So you're able to...
I have a really common name where I live.
So you're able to not only find the name, but differentiate the same name to the actual person.
With available
other pieces of data to differentiate, like, hey, this is not this one, it's this one.
With what's available in public records, yes. You could, for my name in my location where I live, you could find me with my name, my birthday, and the city I live in.
Which is insanity.
It is. It's that easy to associate an identity with a person. And then you compare that with the amount of information we release about ourselves online.
Not even just release, freely give by just easily clicking I consent form or like agree and all these things. Because like a lot of people, think about how many people like just click agree and don't actually read the privacy terms and all these things.
I was also going to say, think about the amount of people that say, oh, like when I go to a website and it asks me, like, oh, location information. Do you allow this site to know your location? And I know so many people just click, yeah, allow.
You'll be on a newspaper site reading, and then it'll say, I want your location. I'm like, wait. And then they'll say agree.
Why?
It's like, why? And then you'll just be on, let's say, on like a comic book site, or something like that, and then it just says, "Hey, we need location access."
Location information or location access, and then it wants like cookie access or something like that.
Well, and that
Well, they don't really.
Well,
some don't even ask about cookies; they just take them.
They take the cookies.
I think it's mainly the companies who are based in locations where they have to ask about your cookies, because some websites don't ask.
It is definitely based on regulation.
So I which is kind of crazy, because it's like I feel like every website should be required to ask if you consent, because there are websites who just don't ask. There are some who you come out and say, hey, you have to say that you consent, or you just figure out which cookies you actually want like release.
Yeah.
So I feel like those ones that ask are the ones based in locations of where they mandate that they ask, and the other ones that just take them. Like if you hop on a website and you're just scrolling through, you're just giving out information.
Yeah.
And,
just by visiting.
Well, and see, even just beyond that, deciding what sources to trust and who is tracking your information, you never really know, do you? It's to the point where even employers are starting to track the location of their employees. For instance, the company I work for tracks the location of their machines when they connect to a network. If I decide to work remotely, my employer knows where I'm working from. And that's information that I personally like to control.
That is definitely at a certain point, I was going to say, that's definitely at a certain point even a breach of privacy, right? A company at a certain point, we have worked during COVID times and even before. A company does not need to immediately know where you are working from in order to get your work. They know you, they hired you, they went through all those processes. I know major corporate companies are going to do background checks. So at a certain point, you have to give trust to an employee. Otherwise, what use is an employer-employee relationship? You know?
Adding on to that, it's like that trust is like the key point, because I don't know about you guys, but if I feel like I can't, like, my freedom is very important. And if I feel like everywhere I go, like, let's say I'm at home and I want to, and like, I don't know, maybe I want to get an oil change for my car or do something, like, if I maybe like step out to even just go for a little grocery shopping, like, I don't want them to know, like, oh, I'm at Walmart or some shit.
Or you went to auto.
Or for like 15 minutes or like half an hour, even though like I'm still getting my work done. It's just like, there's micromanagement is like starts to like truly like bury like into like the employee's mind, like, to a point where it's like once it gets to be too much, it's just you're losing like the actual. You no longer have like a capable work environment where like someone feels like they can be like truly productive or like feel like they can actually be themselves, because now it's like, hey, even if I'm doing the right things, I still have to be looking a certain way because they're keeping an eye to make sure things are like this. So like now, even if you like, let's say you're one like the higher performance, where maybe a task that should take you like maybe like a week takes you like 2 days or something like that, or maybe even 3. And within that, you kind of like going around, maybe like you're helping other people out, maybe helping them doing their tasks and stuff like that. And even though you might be capable of like working faster, you're working at like a comfortable pace where it's like you can maintain this for longevity. Whereas what they're trying to do is more so like drain you in terms of like short term. By that, like what that micromanagement does is more so it's like, hey, even if I did what I need to, I still have to like be here and look like this. Like, hey, I have to look like I'm busy or something like that, to that point, because there's only so much work. Because I don't know about you guys, it gets to a point like, even if I'm doing a task, I have to wait on other departments to give me certain pieces of information that I can no longer control how long that takes. And there's certain points where you're just like sitting and waiting for certain things to come to you. Especially at big corporations, especially at major corporations, shit moves slow.
Well, and then let's go beyond that to how do they even track, right? For instance, the company I work for tracks not only when we badge in and out of an office, but they track how many hours out of a day they think we're working when we're online. And to break that down further, I mean, they're tracking mouse movement, they're tracking clicks, they're tracking your connection status, they're tracking what applications are focused and for how long, they're tracking your keystrokes. But they can't track across the entire environment. I mean, my job personally has me working on a lot of lab machines. These machines are not registered in my name. And a lot of them don't support the software. I mean, 2 of the devices I work on most frequently are MacBooks. And the software that they use to do this tracking does not function properly on MacBooks. It functions best on Windows. So my
as someone who has a MacBook, I'll tell you right now, most software does not fucking work on a MacBook.
Well, and especially the M4.
Well, yeah, I don't have an M4 because crazy, I'm not made of fucking money. But like, the thing I have is okay. Yeah, I have an M2, and look, I don't like Mac. I don't like Apple. I got this as a gift. I thank it as a gift, but I've made a promise. The second I graduate, this gets destroyed. I'll do it even live on this channel. I'll destroy this MacBook because I hate. Imagine trying to download.
How many IDEs have you had to download and bypass?
I don't want to talk about it.
All I want to know is,
I don't want to talk about it.
can I do a burnout on it when you're done with it?
Oh, honestly, please. Because at a certain point, I want one.
We're gonna start with the sledgehammer, finish off with the burnout with the motorcycle.
That would go so hard. For one, anyone out there, please, for the love of God, back up all your things onto a hard physical drive. Everything you have, hard physical drive. That's my opinion. I don't know how y'all feel.
I personally have a SanDisk 3 terabyte SSD.
So, okay, I don't know if anybody else has heard of the 3-2-1 rule.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
So we're all fans of it here, right?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
You should have at least 3 different forms of storage for something you care about.
Yeah.
You should have at least 2 cold storage options. Something that is hard set, paper, a hard disk, something that is immutable, something that is not changing and you can leave on a shelf for 10 years plus.
My shit has been sitting underneath my TV gathering dust, but I backed the shit up last month.
My shit is sitting in a garage, in my garage, happily.
And then,
doing a thing.
And then because we always want to meet that third letter in CIA, availability, you have
CIA.
at least one option for hot storage, something you can access quickly, right?
We love confidentiality, integrity, and availability, especially availability, because what you gonna do without the availability?
Those are triggers. I have a big term next week.
Don't worry, they still mention it in corporate.
The CIA triad?
Example.
Have you heard of what gang triads are out there? Not the CIA triad. I bet you that. We only care about the CIA triad out here.
Exactly.
Oh, hold on. If we're going to talk about 3-letter agencies, let's talk about the NSA.
Yeah.
Because what's more prescient for privacy, right? And in this day and age where everything that we're seeing right now has been nothing but an echo of the canary from Snowden.
Yeah, legitimately.
We look at the NSA. There have been reports about the NSA and the supposed usage of the digital skeleton key, right? Get access to any email, any account. And the majority of the usage of that tool was personal. Analysts were using it to check in on love interests and family members.
At a certain point, we have to accept that people will always try to find a sense of control in life that they do not get normally, right? A lot of people who are given certain powers are going to search for a control. They want to understand everything that's going on. They want to check in on everyone that's, around them. At a certain point, we don't need to give people that access. We don't need to give access to everyone for every single part of our life, right? Like, my parents don't need to see everything I search. You don't need to see everything I search.
I don't want to.
Exactly.
That builds better relationships, right?
Yeah, exactly.
There's the old Southern adage, you might make a new neighbor, but that doesn't mean you should go tearing down any fences.
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't want to see what's in their backyard. Well, why would you? It's just like...
I think it's also a thing of like, hey, I want to get to know my other person, but the internet and these things still matter, and anonymity and like privacy are still a big part of that. Just because, like, we in this day and age know more about a person all the way in China than our neighbor, right? And in my opinion, we should switch that.
I know my neighbors are brown.
Yeah, you live in Charlotte. Crazy.
Well, you know what? The U.S. government also knows your neighbors are brown because they're using this technology. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're keeping track of these things, and we should keep track of what we're making available for them to look at.
Like, at a certain point, there needs to be an understanding of, yes, this is what you know, but that needs to be easily accessible. Like, I should know what you know about me. I should know what the government knows about me. And especially in this day and age, that is trying to be stopped.
Mm-hmm. And there are some sites where you can terminate all the information you have, but that's not an option for every site. I mean, when I first started using DuckDuckGo, and they had like show you like how many like tracking pings like that you'd get from like single search or whatever.
I use Brave personally now.
I mean, yeah.
But that's because DuckDuckGo started with this really crappy AI, and I just really didn't want to deal with it. But no, you were saying, you were talking.
Oh no, I'm not.
Okay, good. I hate you.
But no, I mean, kind of going off what you're saying, right? I mean, in the motorcycle community, I see this all the time, right?
Yeah.
I ride a semi-unique bike, and at least in my area.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how people know me.
Yeah,
In
they
the
know you
bike
as that
community,
bike.
I will go to meetups and I will go to events, and people are, who are you? Red Bull Honda. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And it's just like that. You know, one simple thing can identify you, and even just amongst interpersonal relationships, because I really don't even post about motorcycles all that often. I've got an account for that kind of stuff, and I don't do much there. Mm-hmm. But still, that's what I'm known as in that community. And then you take that further and you expand it into digitally available information.
We can even break that down even smaller, even within friend groups. Sometimes you forget someone's name. It's like, oh, I recognize you as, brown bitch. That's just how it is. It's just like,
As if you're forgetting my name.
Yeah, I just call you by bitch. That's just your name nowadays. But, that's what I'm talking about. Like, sometimes, you'll just meet somebody, like, the people who you meet for the first time, and they'll let you know their name, but, like, say you're not good with names and you're trying to remember them, maybe you'll recognize a feature about them. Like, let's say they have red hair. You're like, oh, you're that one red-haired person. And then you're like, oh, yeah, what was your name again? And then, boom. So things like that, like small features, like just the smallest unique thing can help differentiate. Even people who have so many characteristics that are the same, just that one unique thing can be like, all right, boom, you're that. Which is kind of crazy if you think about it, considering how much data there is out there.
I mean, it's starting to pop up everywhere. Even Walmart recently made the switch to removing the price tag from certain items, like clothing. There's still a barcode on the clothing, but if you want to check the price, you have to scan it with the app.
A lot of this is because a lot of companies are moving to surge and dynamic pricing, where the prices of an option will change
Depending on how much you need it.
every hour.
And
They want to start using this they started this at Wendy's, right? So they have a thing where it's like you go to Wendy's in the morning, might be a little cheaper, might be a little better, maybe you don't need as much. But as more people start coming in, they will jack up the prices.
Yep. Well, and it goes into that same concept of what data is being collected, right?
Yeah.
Now, where you could traditionally just shop at Walmart and not have to worry about who can see what you looked at.
Yep.
Well, now there's a record of you scan the label on that pair of lingerie, or you scan the label on that bottle of ketchup.
And you can even see this. How many times have you said something out loud, and the next thing you know, there's an ad for something related to what you said
On your phone.
on your phone or on your TV or on your laptop when you're looking, right? And here's another thing. If you have, for example, I usually wear like a Galaxy watch, right? The amount of times I've looked into the actual workings of that and how there is mic settings. Your watch can hear you, right? Your phone can hear you. And that's always turned on. Even when you turn it off, it's on.
All that's for the purpose of Google Assistant.
Exactly. Like if you have an Alexa in your home, think about this. How do you turn it off? You say Alexa off. And then when you say Alexa on, how is it being turned on?
Even my Google Home Mini, even when I shut off the mic on that thing, I know damn well even if they wanted to, they could still collect the sound. Even if they say that, even they show the whole orange thing where it's oh, I'm muted. I don't believe you.
There's active lawsuits related to this.
Oh yeah, no, I don't believe you. I know you control the software. How am I to know that you're actually not listening to me?
There are backend. We know backend programs. We know how it is very easy to get into a system through the back, even if you control everything. When for example, Google controls everything when it comes to a Google Home.
I just thought something stupid.
What do you think?
I'm sorry. It's interesting that you say that because even the management software for Google Fiber is cloud-based. You make changes to your home network through an internet website. There's no local management of Google Fiber.
It just speaks to how, like, people will always say, like, oh, globalization, and like how, oh, that's good in the sense of I don't need a local Google thing or something like that. But you should, because that's what privacy should be about. They shouldn't have to track you right to your general location, right to your, not even general, exact location, because they have that. They can.
Like approximate or like exact?
It's exact. They have your exact location.
And Google's one of those companies selling those anonymous location data sets.
When you look, most people use Chrome. Most people use Chrome. The amount of times you have to turn off or be, the amount of times you have to turn off, the information of being like, oh, I want to turn off location services. The amount of websites you have to go and do that to, it's insane.
Yeah.
Google will keep that on. When you go to the normal Google site, it just has that on. You don't get to turn that off.
You can't even escape that anymore.
No,
because
you can't.
You now have fingerprinting.
Yep.
You now have fingerprinting.
Yep.
Websites are now able to determine attributes of the physical system that the browser is open on and use that to identify you and correlate that with an advertising identity or anything else that they so choose.
For example, I have a MacBook that uses fingerprinting. That uses, for passwords and stuff, it uses my fingerprint to give it like information, to be like, oh, that's me. I'm well aware that my fingerprint is in Apple storage, in Google storage, in everything. At a certain point, you accept those things. But maybe we shouldn't have to. What would you say, in your opinion, like, what's the best way to kind of clean up your internet or clean up, like, the amount of information you have out there?
I mean, there's a lot of services out there that will go through and request to remove your data from various websites. Those are great. That's a great place to start. But the best place you can really start is by trying to just cut off what information you put out there. What applications do you have on your phone? What permissions do they have? What websites do you go to? Do you use your legal name at these websites on these applications? I mean, let's be honest, Jimbo is not what I go by on a day-to-day basis. That is not my name. But I don't share that with the internet.
Neither is
I
Mel
don't
for
share
me.
that with everybody else out there because I respect my own privacy. And the best way to avoid your information getting out there is to just not put it out there to begin with.
No, that's real, because a lot of times we just willingly accept to just give our information out. And oftentimes it's because a lot of people just don't know any better. They just think that's just how it is. Like they'll get to websites like, hey, cookies settings, do you accept or do you want to change? And a lot of people just say, hey, they just click because it's easy. Which is crazy. Not many people go into the actual advanced settings and say, hey, necessary cookies only, and shut everything off because they don't even really know what it means.
Yep.
And even then, even what all necessary cookies you allow, even then, that's like the bare minimum shit. You're still giving out information, like even information that you wouldn't think that you're giving out. What they say is necessary isn't truly fully necessary. That's what regulations, some standards allow them to just take, just by just you visiting their site for free. Yes. A lot of these free services, free apps you download, anything free, anything that you don't pay for, you are that product. If you're not paying money for a product, you are the product. Like you're just like an advertising mind at the end of the day.
And at a certain point, we are at a level in society where there are certain levels of acceptance you have to have with how much you are being monitored. And that comes with being aware of what you're putting out there. Like, don't have your name on most of your social media because the government is looking there. The companies are looking there. Everyone is looking there. And in general, in my opinion, knowledge and knowing what is out there helps you get ahead of the curve.
Well, that's if you value That's if you value privacy. There's a lot of people out there who don't care about the privacy. They want to be out there, or like they just want to. They're in the like. They're on the road to fame or something. They just want to put everything out there. Like, hey, the more people that know me, the better. Like, as long as I make it or something like that. It's just like they just do not care. But there are people who truly value the privacy. If you don't value privacy, well, yeah, whatever. Just go on about your business. But
even then, like, even if you don't value your privacy at a certain point, even if you don't value your privacy, a company should not know every single intimate detail about you. That should just be a normal thing. There should be a normal level of privacy. Like, think about this. We don't know, like, we know celebrities. We don't know every intimate detail about their life. Why should companies know every intimate detail about our life?
Well, and that kind of brings us to an interesting place too, as well. And that's the idea of malicious misuse of data versus just poor data practices.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, everybody's heard of Cambridge Analytica at this point. That's like the most well-known issue around malicious misuse of data. But beyond that, our data is just not safe on the day-to-day. I mean, there was a European hacker that was able to get into an airline's no-fly list data because an AWS bucket still had a default password.
don't get me.
And so
Don't get me started on the default passwords. Like, that's like the most simple thing to change.
Password as their password.
The most like that's you know what's funny? A lot of these breaches are because of default passwords. And it's crazy because you think that, well, not a lot of people know, but you think that, like, hey, maybe this thing that I'm getting stock, like, why would you keep your car, like, why would you change your car from stock, but not change your password from stock, bro? Like at least, like, this point, like, bro.
Adding a hashtag onto your password is not changing.
Well, and let's go beyond that, right? Gone are the days of where you can substitute numbers for letters, where you can put words in your passwords. I mean, in a simple 8-character, fully random password is brute forceable in under a week at this point. And we start to expound upon that. You go to 12 characters. That buys you a few million years.
See, my company was changing to 16-character passphrases.
And see, the characters,
because what word is 16 characters? Like, well, that's not like a password, it's a passphrase.
Exactly.
Well, and so we get to that point where also it has to be random. You can't put words in this anymore. I mean, the technology's there between machine learning and rainbow tables. Rainbow tables have been around for
I already
so long.
I already know what my 16 character password is gonna be, and only because it's gonna be something that I rant on about a daily basis, and something that I
Personally used.
So the rainbow tables, though.
I mean, the 2012 script kitty could get into your password today, and that's scary.
And an 08 script kitty would just take him a bit longer, maybe a month.
If that, honestly, if that.
And if they know how to segue into new technology, maybe just raise your brain a little bit, they'll be fine.
I mean, you could just out processing at some point, like.
And then we look at the geographic data and the fact that, you know, every single little bit of information you put out about yourself profiles you, and then you're now vulnerable to something like a password spraying attack. Since brute forcing is no longer popular, password spraying is really effective.
It works really well, yeah.
General information about the population.
I think it's also like, it helps that in general, a lot of information about a population is also out there. So you can just do a bare basic like researching search and then just find all the information you need. Boom.
Exactly.
You're set. You have all the information you need. And also, I will say right now, even in this day and age, phishing attacks are just so popular. It's just insane. I'm sure you can both talk about how even your coworkers have fallen.
There's phishing, smishing, vishing.
Yeah.
So I've got a colleague.
I'm just here, I'll diction, you know, like.
So I've got a colleague. He works for an AI security company.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Their whole objective is to take AI and use it to break a company's corporate security and then pivot from that to consult with the company. So they took their AI and they pointed it at the employees of the company. You know, corporate emails are publicly searchable most of the time. And they would phish these employees for information about the project. They would generally refer to just some project, collect data relating to a bunch of different things that company was working on, compile that, and then used that data to successfully spearfish the CEO of the company.
Not the spear fishing. They got his ass.
Using like 50 different things from
You know what all this is? This is just social engineering on crack.
Yes.
That's all it is. It's just social engineering on crack.
Jesus Christ.
It's just social engineering on crack. It's like, oh, you told me this, you told me this. Okay, all right, CEO.
Perfect.
Let me get a little something.
This specific project with this information.
And how much money you said again? What was that count? I got you.
Give me the account number.
I got you. My God.
It just kind of speaks to you about how much information is really out there, not even like publicly accessed. Like, let's say I have even like a bare basic level of access towards like Wells Fargo. I could do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Any person could do a lot of damage.
Any company.
Yes.
Let's even take the biggest one, JP Morgan.
Yes.
Google.
Yep.
Amazon.
Yep.
Fucking Wells Fargo, fucking Citibank, Truist, all these guys. Like, it doesn't really take like you can like as you said, company emails are publicly searchable data. All these things. It doesn't take much to find just one person who's not that bright in terms of
government accounts. Even like government level security, those are honestly they are more public, and not even that. A lot of the protections we use in the government are often lapsed over time because a lot of systems just get ignored, right? Like a lot of systems, like we don't often care about the electricity grid every time. There have been so many times where money has lapsed and systems are left open, or systems have been probable to hacked.
Well, and you have stuff like Shodan out there now. Yeah, been out there for some time, and you can't even have a Ring camera in your house anymore without the risk of somebody being able to just find that publicly accessible on the internet from a resource like Shodan.
Yep.
And just connect to your internet accessible devices.
Because that's just open. You truly have no control of that.
There were cases of people whose houses were burned down because their network attached 3D printers were taken control by someone in a totally different country, totally different locale than them.
Not even just that. There are websites where you can see people's webcams like publicly available. That's why like if you see a lot of people who work in technology, stuff like that, you'll see that their webcams either have a sticky note covered or like a actual cover covering it. Oh, fuck.
As you break yours.
I'm now being seen by every brown person out there. All the Nigerian princes will now see me.
This man's not even wearing Nike sweatpants.
Exactly. Or so you spend your money on better things.
No.
Not even a little. Exactly.
I
Crazy.
just make poor financial decisions with things that have motors.
Oh God, that's also fair.
See, I'm trying to build my savings first before I spend money, and then I'll start.
Boring.
No. spent money on so far was like trips. Now I'm trying to.
I love how you say I'm saying boring as if I'm not going to do the exact same thing.
Hey, look.
I got my 401k looking nice, my Roth looking nice. Not like that money's gonna be able to be used anytime soon. So I'm fucked.
All I gotta say is that paying for services is money burned.
Yes.
Buying a motorcycle is an investment.
Now this is what I'm talking about right here.
Depreciates the second you get off.
No, see, that's why you buy them used.
Well, it appreciates, but the smile factor appreciates.
You buy them used, and motorcycles are a heavily seasonal item. So you buy them dirt cheap in the fall,
And then summer season comes.
and then spring and summer you flip them. I mean, that's exactly what I did for the Miata.
I mean, that makes sense.
I owned it for 5 months. I bought it in the fall for $6,000 because the guy was looking to dump it quick. He needed some cash, and it was a convertible in the winter. Who wants that? And then I turned around in the spring and sold it for $9,000 because everybody wants a 2-seater project car going into the summer.
If I was working at that time, you know how quickly I would have bought that.
I know you would have.
You know how quickly I would have bought that. You bastard.
Look, you'll have first dibs at the Honda.
No, give me first dibs.
You'll have second dibs at the Honda.
Hunger Games. Are you Katniss or are you Peeta?
Honestly, though, people, anytime you see a CBR go up for sale, people be taxing.
Dude, remember we went out that one time and then there's that one bastard? I think we went to like Pins or something. Oh yeah, one fucking lefty was there. We went out like fucking those bastards like coming out like, oh, what the
CBR? What does that stand for?
What does that stand for? I don't know.
God.
It's a bike.
Oh my God.
Oh, Jesus. But
If you wanted to know, I'm sorry, this is just being a little autistic here. It stands for Cross-Beam Racer.
Good to know.
Because they were cross-plane cranks. Or sorry, they're not cross-plane so much as they were perpendicular to the direction of travel, and that was kind of a big deal.
and Toyota's GR stands for Gazoo Racing, so not too crazy.
Yeah.
What you got against GRs? I want a GR Supra.
I know you do.
But I might. But like, here's the thing: should I get a used Supra or a brand new '86?
No, get a used A91. Coming from someone that almost bought one, get a used A91. Don't get the A90.
You will get cheaper and you can do shit with it.
Well, and don't get the A90 because the A90 had a shittier intake plenum.
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, the rear cylinders starve for intake on the A90s compared to the A91s. They redesigned the intake plenum so that it flowed better with the turbo.
Okay, I was going to ask what the problem was.
Yep.
You know, we talked a lot about privacy, and in general, in my opinion, I think a lot of the issues that relate to privacy is the fact that a lot of people do not know or understand what is out there. Because there's this idea that, this thing exists, I'll just use it, right? Like for the internet, I don't really care about it. I don't really understand all of it. I just am on it. People don't care about the things they use.
I wouldn't even say don't care. They're just not aware.
I think they don't care as well.
I mean, there are some who just don't care, but then there are some who would care if they knew.
Well,
They just don't know.
and that's the thing is, even people that know
Don't actually
really
know.
So
Because
mean,
I thought I knew a little bit, but like he started talking things, I was like, wait, hold up. He said, what?
no, you bring up the concept of cookies, right?
Yeah.
People at this point know about cookies. They turn cookies off, right? But with browser fingerprinting, what I mentioned earlier, you may turn off cookies, but a website is still able to see data about the browser and the hardware that's running the browser that has the website open.
So we can just
And that is typically that is typically unique enough that they can create a profile for an identity based off of
The
that.
funny thing about cookies, I don't know who came up with that name, but my fat ass just goes a little crazy, like the Cookie Monster. It's like,
You're the Cookie Monster.
it's like, dog, like I would love a cookie, but you know, I can't be a fat ass. But then the different type of cookie, like dude, the first time I heard of cookies, if this was like middle or like early high school, first time I like saw like interacted with what a cookie was, and this website had an actual image of cookies, like chocolate chip cookies, and they're like, hey, can we collect your cookies? I'm like, I ain't got no cookies, bro. And they showed a picture of cookies. I was like, bro, like, y'all got cookies? Dude, somebody didn't feed me yet.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense.
There was this one brown kid I like that I was friends with in like middle school when I first like moved here. Yeah, now I'm bleeping the name. But when I first moved here, and we always like would switch our food because he would bring food from home that he didn't want to eat, and I would just swap food from school that he wanted to eat, which I never understood because like unless it was like a day with like nachos, like cheese sticks. The only days I ever felt bad about switching my food, the only days I did not want to switch truly was the cheese stick days. But like he'd bring something crazy. I was just like that. I was just like, let me. I got.
And then you get cheese sticks.
No, literally, I still someone else. How'd you know? How'd you know? How'd you know?
Because
I did the same shit.
Marinara, dude, every day.
Oh, dude, they went. Dude, the
Oh my
marinara
god,
sauce.
when I was in my weightlifting era and I'd go through, I would get the double portion of the cheese sticks.
Oh my god,
with
yes.
the potato
With the
smiles.
potato smiles.
Dude, I was on reduced lunch. So the
You were
days
on reduced.
I was on reduced lunch, so the days that I got that I just said, fuck it. Double cheese sticks, I'll pay. I looked at like a $5-10 bill that I double.
I would literally just be telling. I would just tell my parents got mad at me one time because they looked at the pricing and they were like, "Wait a minute, you've been getting double. What have you been doing?" And I was like,
See,
See,
you.
I'm ADHD.
Fair.
I was put on stimulants at the age of 5 to treat that shit.
Yeah.
And so it really screwed with my appetite and it screwed with my growth. And so my parents never questioned the bill when it came to food. They saw that I was eating double and they said, please continue.
He's like, oh, you're eating. Let's go.
My parents didn't believe in ADHD, so I'm just in this position.
Oh,
Mine
yeah,
did
no,
not
trust
either.
me. Gifted kid burnout. We're here.
Go.
We're here.
No,
I know
literally. I'm literally trying to recover now, bro. I'm like literally this first year working, bro. Like, dude, you don't understand. Like, I thought like I was healing beforehand. Like, bro, this first year, just like actually just letting my brain just like fucking like rest and dude, I've been healing like a motherfucker. Like, bro, I'm about to go to therapy, bro.
Can we honestly hit on that a little bit, and maybe you can add a little section at the end of the podcast
Yeah, absolutely.
to talk about neurodivergence.
Yes, we at the Common Podcast are always big on talking about certain things because end of the day we are both very.
We always say that like we're only this good of friends because of our neurodivergence, like in a way, because like I feel like it has to be there.
We find each
And so-
other.
Exactly. Like we just found.
Like,
each
'cause
other,
I know, like, there's
can
no
take his
fucking
bullshit,
way
you
to,
can take
like-
my bullshit because of that.
And one of the things I love to talk about when it comes to neurodivergence is the gifted kid burnout.
Yeah.
Right? Because of the pattern recognition skills, you do well on tests.
But you don't do your homework.
You don't do your homework. But
And then your teacher sits you down and is like, "Wait, you're doing well on the test, but why are you not doing your homework?" And you're like, "I forgot about my homework."
well,
Or
and
I just did not want to do it.
even just beyond that, right? We get beyond that. Maybe you actually need help, right? Because it's executive dysfunction.
Yep.
And you have to learn ways to work around that. And medication can help. I'm not gonna diss anybody that medication works
I
for.
can't tell you so many times I work where I have to like force myself to like just like actually just like be
Personally,
like
what I do is
there.
when I start a project or start doing something, I work for an hour, break for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Work for an hour, break for 30 minutes, and then I come back to it when I can.
Exactly.
Because at a certain point, I
And here's the
know
funny
myself.
thing: me
I
doing
cannot
something
do
in 1
this
hour,
for
I get that
hours.
thing. I get someone else's. What would take someone 6 hours to do, I can do in an hour, and then I'll take a half-hour break.
Yep.
And so I'm not gonna diss anybody that has to take medication to treat their condition
Yep.
because everybody's
Each their
different.
own.
But for me, that doesn't really work.
I think a
And-
lot of that is also you started very young, from what I'm hearing.
And in the education system, at least in the United States,
That too, they do not do well.
they don't care. And because a lot of neurodivergent people ended up in gifted programs, it's
Yep.
assumed, well,
You're
here's your
smart.
test scores, you're
Exactly.
more than capable.
Why are you not?
Why aren't you doing well? And then instead of getting support, we get
Pushed down.
admonished.
Yeah, exactly.
We get punished. And it feeds this cycle of people that are winning award after award through elementary, middle school, and high school just to become unemployed in their 30s.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's fully true. And a lot of it is also our system really does not do well in how a lot of ADHD people and neurodivergent people learn, right? Like the way I learn is not the way we were taught. Oftentimes I have to teach myself in certain ways, or like the way I learn is vastly different than what I am taught.
The equation they wrote on the board didn't make sense. I had to figure it out in a way that made sense to me.
Because also, I will say, like, probably they end up unemployed in 30s also because, like, because of pattern recognition, you see where this road leads you, and it's like, it's somewhere where you don't necessarily, like, you see yourself being further down the road than that, but, like, you just, in the place that you're at, you just, so you don't see it, like, feasibly happening, so you kind of just, like, all right, fuck it. You just kind of just, like, just fall into it right where you're just, like, all right, whatever. You just, like, kind of just let it go. But it's also more so, like, if you do get that sport where it's, like, you actually start to, like, you're able to, like, do what, like, for neurodivergence, like, we're not made to be sitting in a fucking cubicle desk, like, 8 hours. Like, dude, do you know, like, I can do, like, so much in 8 hours where, like, if I'm running, like, let's say if I'm, like, doing my job and I have, like, 3 businesses I'm owning, I could run all that in that same 8 hours. Like, if I have like, a full list of tasks that I know I have to get done by the end of 5 o'clock, trust, it's getting done. Like, it's gonna get done. I just, if I only have like a few things I have to get, it's just like, now I'm just like, and then I start seeing like down to it's okay. Most people did not really move up via merit or any other means. It was just more so like social bullshit. And it's just like half the time you'll play the social bullshit, but then it's also just like, I don't want to play the social bullshit. So it's just like, then it's just like, okay, where else can it go besides that? And then you start to see the actual reality. Like, okay, well, fuck it. I'm just not going to do it.
Well, and so that brings us to kind of an interesting place too, with even just like the stigma around neurodivergence.
Where it's seen as like you're weird.
So
You're out there.
I was diagnosed with ADHD in the 2nd grade. I was failing 2nd grade. That sounds insane.
I failed 5th grade because I didn't do any work.
It sounds insane to be able to fail 2nd grade though, right? But I was failing 2nd grade because I couldn't pay attention. I couldn't do long division because I wouldn't pay attention in class.
Long division was too long.
And so
You wanted somewhere shorter.
one teacher conference later, I'm at the doctor getting diagnosed with ADHD. My doctor does a screener for autism and comes away with a probable, but tells my mother, hey, look, I'm not really qualified to diagnose this, but he screens pretty high for it. My own mother goes, I'm not gonna take him to be tested for that with a specialist because that would make him too different. He's already been diagnosed with ADHD. He's failing second grade because he's talking too much in class. If he gets an autism diagnosis, that would make him too different. And I mean, at the time, given the day and age, I probably would have been diagnosed with Asperger's.
Yeah, probably. And that would put you in a special class.
But that would have put me in special needs.
Yeah.
And that wouldn't have worked either, realistically.
Hell no. You have been way too advanced for that.
Not even, it's just a different type of teaching that he wouldn't need.
Exactly. You know, I could do fine with regular teaching. I just needed
More time singular.
I needed more time singularly. I needed more help with the type of skills that most kids picked up fluidly, like managing a calendar, managing when they had to do their homework and when it was
Being
due.
organized. The amount of times I've been told that, wow, how are you this disorganized? Where is everything? And I'm like, well, it works for me.
Oh my lord. I tell you what, my favorite data type is a heap.
That says everything.
That actually
That says everything.
And I agree.
Every neurodivergent person I've ever met has that bowl on the table by the door.
Yeah.
For like
For
their
stuff.
catch-all just stuff.
Stuff. That's the stuff bowl. What else do you need? If my keys, my wallet, my anything else I need, like any bottle openers, coins,
My music was organized.
Look, it may not be 01.
like playlist
but
with over 1,000 songs.
It may not be 01.
Yeah, exactly.
But like,
Yeah,
I know it's there.
yeah.
I'm gonna find
I'm
it.
gonna find it. It'll take a bit, but it's there. I remember. It's one of the only things I do remember. But I think a lot of this correlates to a lot of people are just not willing to put in the time to learn stuff because we have such a general societal viewing of anti-intellectualism, you know? And I think I really want to start talking about that in our next episode.
And intellectualism will be more so, why is it such a bad thing to try to know more about the world around you? Like, why is it so demonized when people try to understand more about what goes into the world around them? When people try to learn more into, like, let's say your like technology and all this stuff, a lot of people have been trying to fully understand like the data behind it, which leads to privacy and things like that. Because again, the more you understand, the more you question, the more the people you're questioning, they're like, okay, why are you questioning? It's like, okay, you're kind of like cutting into like our things here. It's like, so it's not that like there shouldn't be an issue with people trying to learn more, and just because them understanding more about what goes into certain things will lead them to question as to like your practice and stuff like that. That should be the standard, honestly. More people should learn about what goes into the makings of the world around them so that they can truly question things and actually say, hey, and hold people accountable, because a lot of nonsense going on nowadays because a lot of these companies and people are not being held accountable because a lot of people don't actually know what's going on. I feel like if more people understand what's going on, they'll actually start to like think properly and be like, hey,
This is weird.
to say the least.
Yeah.
Like,
But we would like to thank you, Jimbo, for coming onto the Common Podcast, and we will see you next time.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Absolutely. All right, sign us out, bitch.
all right, fuck you.
Boom, how long was that?